Well, in the case of rail, it is taking over the train operating companies as the franchise expires, so there is no cost involved in that. We already have direct rail services, we already have Transport for London operating in London and now running rail services in the suburbs. We already have Merseyrail, which is publicly owned, and so it will be a continuation of that, and that will mean that we've got the benefits of the huge investments that we have all made.
But there are 4 big nationalisations you're proposing, and in these manifestos there's no guide as to the scale of that change to the economy. There's no cost put on bringing water back into national control, for example, no cost on electricity, and you're not giving people the information you promised, are you?
Water bills have gone up by 40% in real terms since privatisation. Water dividends to shareholders living in other parts of the world mainly have gone up massively, and our companies have increased prices and been fined for polluting our rivers. And so I think it is only right that our water industry should be in public ownership as it is in Scotland, and the process of doing that may well be a bond issue in exchange for shares, but we will be taking them into public ownership, and instead of the profits being siphoned off elsewhere, they'll be here and invested in good quality water infrastructure, good quality river basin management, and hopefully lower bills.
But forgive me, Jeremy Corbyn, my question is, why in this manifesto is there no scale, no ballpark figure for how much it might cost the public purse? How much would you be prepared to borrow to renationalise 4 major industries?
We don't know what the share price will be at the time that we do it. So they've said in the case of rail there is a neutral cost on it. I believe in the case of water the same will apply in exchange for the bond issue. On the question of energy, we're not proposing nationalisation of any of the big 6 energy companies.
You're proposing new
wait a minute, let me finish.
Public energy companies.
That's a different thing, a completely different proposal. What we are saying is that the national grid should be publicly owned, because that is a key part of our security and infrastructure, and we will be giving facilities for local authorities and regional energy companies to be established, as indeed in Nottingham you have Robin Hood Energy, in Liverpool you have Liverpool Lecky, you have a number of companies around the country, and they are actually producing often cheaper electricity, and we want to see an investment in energy needs for the future in which about 60% will be from renewables, and so we will be investing heavily in renewable energy and building on what is actually the very successful wind farms in the Thames estuary and the ones that have been built on Dogger Bank in the North Sea now.
On the other side of the equation, you haven't promised to reverse all the Tory welfare cuts. Now, for some of your supporters, do you accept that might be quite disappointing?
No, what I've said on the welfare cuts and cap issue is this, that we've set aside £2 billion to deal with the worst effects of the benefit cap, which will help a lot. The benefit cap has very perverse effects, worst in the areas of high-cost private sector housing, such as central London and centre. Can I finish?
You can't. But you're to be completely clear.
Can I finish the question, please? What we're suggesting is, and recognising, is that the housing costs are the biggest element to it, and so we will deal with that. Secondly, that we are increasing the living wage, so those in work benefits will obviously change and affect them. We're also saying for those on disability benefit that are going through often the indignity of the capability for work assessment, that will be a medical assessment, not an official bureaucratic assessment in the future. So there's going to be a lot of changes there. The £2 billion I've set aside is to ensure that we deal with the worst effects of the way in which the cap operates, and so we'll make sure that people do not end up on unreasonable, unfair sanctions as they do at the present time, and frankly some commit suicide as a result of it.
So you're not reversing the whole thing, but you are doing some
you will see a lot of changes on it, but bear in mind we've had 2 weeks in order to prepare all of these policy issues because of the speed of which the election has been called. I accept the challenge. We've produced, I think, a very well thought out and very credible manifesto in a very short space of time.
Just one final
I think
question.
we deserve some credit for that, actually, but it's all right.
Well, it will be up to the voters, won't it?
Indeed, I look forward to their decision.
Might I ask you one final question? Might I take a leaf out of your own book? At Prime Minister's Questions, you have often used questions from voters.
Indeed so.
Might I put a question to you from one voter who said to me, please ask Jeremy Corbyn, when he goes to sleep at night, in those private moments at the end of the day, does he really in his heart of hearts, think that he will be moving into number 10?
When I go to sleep at night, I usually go to sleep very tired, as we all do. But I tell you what, this is the most fantastic opportunity, and I'm very proud to lead this party with an opportunity that can give real chance and real hope to every child in this country, but can also deal with the grotesque levels of inequality. I'm not happy when I see people sleeping on the streets. I'm not happy when I see people queuing up at food banks. I don't want to see food bank Britain. I don't want to see homeless Britain. I want to see a country that's thriving for all.
And when in those moments, do you really think you're going to be Prime Minister next month?
We're doing very well in this campaign. Look for June the 9th.